Hey, ladies, welcome back to the Let's Unwind podcast. Tonight, we are going to talk about why women are getting divorced at very high rates. And I don't know about you, Zara, but I see why. Are you ready to get into this topic tonight?
I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we just want to go ahead and jump into it, ladies. We don't want to have too much banter because our first video that we have is pretty long. It's about 7 minutes long, and it's just, I think, is it a doctor or a psychiatrist?
It is a doctor. You've probably seen his videos before on TikTok. But yeah, he's a doctor, a well-known, renowned doctor.
Yeah, he's just explaining to another guy, like, some of the many reasons why women are getting divorces and what these marriages are doing, and how they're causing
Weighing,
women,
on women
yeah,
mentally and emotionally.
yeah, causing women to break down and just taking a toll on women's minds, and just, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get into this first video, ladies, and then we'll come back with commentary after this video.
People call Dr. Gabo Mate the people whisperer.
Legendary thinker and best-selling author.
He's highly sought after for his expertise on addiction, stress, and childhood development.
Yeah.
Gabo, as we come towards the end of this conversation, just to close the loop on something you mentioned earlier, which is women and increased rates of chronic disease. I don't want to leave that open-ended. Could you just explain maybe why you think there may be a relationship there?
Well, if you take something like multiple sclerosis, which I've mentioned a number of times, the gender ratio in the 30s was about 1-to-1.
Yeah.
So if each man diagnosed, there'd be a woman. The gender ratio now is 3.5 women for every man. Now that tells us a few things immediately. It can't be genetics, because that doesn't change over a short period of time. It can't be the diet or the climate, because that doesn't change more for one gender than the other. What is it? It's stress. Now, if you look at those 4 character traits that I said contributed to the onset of illness, the emotional concern for the needs of others, the suppression of healthy anger, the identification with duty, role, and responsibility, the belief that you're responsible for the people's emotions and you mustn't disappoint anybody. Which gender is acculturated in our society to take on those traits more than the other? Of course, it's women. So women have 80% of autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
80% of autoimmune disease are women. And a big mystery. It's not a mystery. They're acculturated to play a certain role. Their role has always been to absorb the stresses of their families and also of their spouses. And certainly that's a role that my wife took on early in our relationship, and she had to rebel against it to stay healthy. There was a study in Sweden that showed that, this is remarkable, that if a woman was depressed prenatally, that increased the risk of a late premature birth, 32 weeks to 36 weeks. If the man was depressed, the father was depressed prenatally, that increased the risk of an even earlier premature birth. Why? Because the woman was absorbing the stress of the man. And so women do that automatically, not biologically necessarily, but because that's the role they've been given in the society. Plus that they have to go out and work now as well to make a living and to make money for the family to survive or to succeed out there in the workforce. And people are more isolated than they ever were. So in Britain, they appointed a minister of loneliness. So greater stress, more isolation. That's why women are getting more autoimmune disease. And during COVID, there was an article in the New York Times about women who took on the emotional stress of their husbands and their children during COVID, and they felt guilty because of the suffering of their men and their children, because it was somehow their job to eliminate or alleviate it. Well, that socially appointed and then automatically assumed role that women have been thrust into has physical implications. That's why women get most autoimmune disease. What if we just recognize this? Yeah. And this big mystery. No mystery. This is a particular dramatic example of the biopsychosocial nature of human beings.
Yeah.
Our biology is inseparable from our psychological functioning and our social relationships.
Yeah.
And who has the brunt of all that? Women of color. They're much more likely to develop these diseases than Caucasian women. Why? Because of the added stress of social and racial oppression or exclusion.
I guess the culture, the society around us impacts so much of how we experience the world and what we chase and what we pursue and how we are. And of course, it can take a long time for culture to change.
Yeah. I'm not saying that people have to wait for the society to change. If they did wait, it'd be a long, long wait, I would think. So there's a lot that we can do, even in the context of this culture. Now, of course, what we can do is not totally freely available equally to everybody. Let's face it, certain classes of people have much fewer options than others. That's just the reality of this culture that we have to really look in the face, you know. But there's still a lot that people can do. And, well, if I can go back to the confluence of your book and mine, you have these three concepts of the healing concepts of alignment, which is I call authenticity, becoming true to ourselves. That's available to all of us. You talk about contentment, which I talk about in terms of acceptance, just actually recognizing how things are and being with them. Not necessarily that we don't want anything to be different, but that we don't stress ourselves about things. Thirdly, what you call control, which is we've already talked about, what I call agency. Those are some core healing principles that, interestingly enough, both you and I, without any discussion or awareness of what each of us is writing, why did we come up with that? Because they're real. And we've seen them both in medical practice and the function of them. Now, I add anger, another A called anger, which is, I think is very important for people to be able to say no and we have a system in our brain for healthy aggression. Just as we have one for play, for love, for lust, for fear, for grief, we have systems in our brain for anger. Why? Because it has to protect us. So I think people need to be angry, not enraged, not chronically resentful, but they have to be able to say, no, you will not do this to me. No, you will not enter my space. No, you will not manipulate me. No, you will not use. So that's a small microcosmic statement of my healing principles, but I certainly think that healing is possible. And let's face it, if you didn't think healing was possible, would you write your books? You know, I mean, if all you wanted to do is tell people how terrible things are, you wouldn't write a book. No. We both write books because we actually believe in human beings, in the capacity of human beings for transformation, and that there's some guidance that can be provided to promote that transformation. That's why we write, and that's why I wrote this book. And so, yes, healing is possible, but we have to be aware. I think you said earlier, we have to wake up to what's going on. Until then, we're just working in the dark.
Gabor, it's always a pleasure spending time with you. I feel very honored these days to call you a friend.
Well, the sense of being honored is mutual.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I totally agree. And I don't know about you, Nava, but have you ever heard of the term mom brain? Has anybody ever used that with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
yeah,
that's what I'm taking from that is like, because I remember when my children were younger, like just sometimes the simplest task could get me overwhelmed just because I was already stretched thin to the max. Mm-hmm. And then you would forget stuff like, and I mean, like, I was young when I had my kids, so it definitely should not have been happening to me at that age. But that's what it's given, is like that mom brain. Like, I feel like women get exhausted and burned out because we take on everybody else's energy, everybody else's emotions, and then you're trying to stretch yourself super thin and play super mom and hero and, you know what I mean, teacher and leader and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel
that's
like
why women are getting divorced. They're trying to protect. My motto is protect your peace. Protect your peace. In 2024, ladies, that should be your motto for everything you do when it comes to your kids, your family, anybody. Just protect your peace. And one thing I got out of this is because we're Black women and we understand this all too much. What he said, that black women, we're facing obesity, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all of this because we care about everybody else so much more than ourselves that we don't even have time to pour into ourselves. We're forever pouring out and just being emptied, like just being emptied. Nobody's replenishing us. So in 2024, y'all need to start replenishing yourself, because your kids are not going to do it. Your husband is not going to do it. Your family is not going to do it. As a matter of fact, your family will make it worse. They will tell you that you're supposed to do all of this stuff and expect you to do all this stuff because they did it, in for generations before you. So like, but no, and we ain't going into 2024 doing the same stuff, but
mom brain and stressed out. And you heard the doctor, like you pointed out, women of color take this on so much more and suffer from this the most. But you're still gonna have these pick-me-yanas out here that are, I don't mind working and picking up these desperate dusties, and saying what you bring to the table. Y'all keep playing that if y'all want to, and see where you end up, sis.
Yeah.
When you're 40, looking 75, and you can't remember if you're going left or right. But no, ladies, honestly, you have to basically be selfish. You have to be selfish, and that's as soft as I'm gonna put it to y'all, because if you are not selfish enough to say, no, I'm going to step away from this and I'm going to do what I need to do so that I can have the sanity to even come back around and even begin to try to help you, you got to be selfish. You got to take that time. You got to pull away, do what you need to do for yourself to keep yourself on track and keep a healthy state of mind. So yeah, y'all get selfish. Y'all get a little bit of selfish. But yeah.
And like Sin said, you need to have boundaries, standards, and expectations, not like
and
just
be selfish with all those. Yes.
Yeah, not even just with men, like with your kids, with your family, with your friends, and make it all about you. Like if you're gonna be at your best, you have to make it all about you, because everybody is dependent on us. Like, so you're just gonna have to push all of that aside, out the way, and be like, okay, this year I'm going to work out. I don't care what I do, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and do it no matter what. Like if it's somebody, you learn how to if you're a single mom and you don't have time, like I meal prep. Like I don't have a lot of time to meal prepping helps a lot when you're trying to be healthy and you're trying to lose weight. Like you just got to pick a day out of the week. Just pick one day and just prep you like 5 meals that you can just grab that is good. And just little stuff like that. I'm always trying to find ways to pamper myself. I will get in the tub and sit there for 3 hours, and I'll have
that's what I'm saying. Like those little things. Yes.
Yeah.
If you read and you into reading, or you listen to books or whatever, because I do both. Take that time to where you just go. I do too, and my daughter wants to too.
We're gonna get a book club together.
That'll be dope. That's gonna be on our good goal list for 2024 when we do our meeting. But no, if you read or something like that, go to your room, shut your door. Nobody's allowed to come in.
Get a sign. Yeah,
take
get a sign.
Time,
put it on your door.
Like I have a
disturb.
little wine sign that says it's wine o'clock. I'm in here. I'm reading. Me and the cats are in here and we're reading. But get selfish, lady, in 2024. Take that time for yourself, because it's so important. You can't be anything to anyone if you're not something to yourself first. So
another stress reliever that we do together is this podcast.
Absolutely. This is our release, lady. This is our release.
Y'all, I was just talking to Zara before we came on about my kids are like not doing so good right now in school, and it's just like I'm working like a lot of hours, and I didn't know that they were behind. I know that sounds bad, but y'all, it's like that. So it's like that sometimes when you just work a lot, and then you got kids, and you got just a whole other life outside of work. And so teachers are calling me right now. My 11-year-old is in the kitchen doing homework right now, and he's pissed with an attitude, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to let his energy rub off on me. I'm about to do this podcast and go talk to my girls and just unwind. Like I'm about to unwind with y'all, because this is my time, and I'm not supposed to take on everybody's energy. Like, because he's a boy, so if I ask him how he's doing in school, he'll lie and say I'm doing good. He'll hide school assignments, and I won't know. He's like not bringing home stuff for me to sign and hiding stuff that the teachers are sending home that when he's doing bad. And it's Like, ladies, don't get stressed out. If your kids are not doing good in school, do not feel like you're a failure. Like, don't. Like, like, you're doing the very best that you can. You still take care of yourself. Like, especially if you're a single mom and your kids are doing bad.
Yes,
And it's
be
like you're
easy on
working.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that we do in our community. We will go so hard on ourselves as mothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just self-blaming. And no, that should be a shared relationship, a shared partnership right there. So
that one guy, he said something about his wife had to rebel to stay healthy, and I said, that's me. I rebel against everything that they say that traditional women are supposed to do. I rebel because I'm like, I was gaining weight, my face was breaking out, my hair wasn't healthy, like I was tired all the time. I had to rebel against everything and just say me.
Yep.
Like I just like men do. Like, they do it all the time.
They're
in the gym.
They will go to the gym. They won't miss a
basketball
date with their homeboys.
No,
they're still gonna have their life. Like, whatever they were doing.
Nights out.
Yes, whatever they were doing before they got married, they're still gonna have that. But women will cancel girls' night. If we went to the gym, we might get lenient on the gym. Yeah. So no, ladies, like I said, 2024, ladies, get selfish. Get selfish.
And,
take that time for you. You owe it to yourself. You only get one life. Owe it. So play it smart. But you ready to get in some more of these stitches? Play a few more stitches for them.
Yeah.
And then these next stitches that we have coming up are by attorneys. So like attorneys, I think there's like divorce attorneys and therapists. Yes, licensed therapists and counselors. So we just wanted to share this with you. They're going over like the rate of divorces initiated by women. So we're going to get into that, and then we'll come back with commentary.
70% of divorces are filed by women. Why? Because women feel their emotional needs are not being fed. Women have more social support, and they discuss their feelings. They also have a lot more resentment against men because they do the brunt of the housework and the child raising. That's why more women than men file for divorce.
70% of divorces are filed by women, and over 50% of divorced wives never want to remarry. And get this, only 30% of men express that same sentiment. So what do I take from this? Well, men, treat your women right. Marriage is a delicate contract. The percentage of successful marriages are not in your favor. Some people might get depressed or downright cynical about this fact. Not me. I think it shows just how sacred a lasting marriage can be. Now, this doesn't mean the marathon runners among us are better than anyone else, even if they brag about their PRs. But it does mean that marriage isn't something to be taken lightly. If there's a chance to fix it, I say go for it. Remember, life is long, which ultimately can be a reason to stay or a reason to move on.
Why do women file for divorce more often than men? Because women are no longer forced to stay in unhappy marriages. If they're being abused or mistreated or they're extremely unhappy, they have options. Besides that, lots of men who engage in bad behavior like cheating, they have warped thinking that they're going to have to give half of their money to their wife. So they just don't file for divorce and they make her do it. So while women do file the paperwork for divorce more often, that divorce is typically coming one way or the other.
Why do women file for divorce more than men? To the tune of 60+%. Many think it's because women just want the easy way out. But here's the reality. Most women that file for divorce spend many, many months, sometimes years, pontificating as to whether or not they're ready for divorce or if it's the right choice for them. So believe me, it's never the easy way out.
I can say as a divorce attorney and a family law attorney in Maryland and DC, where this is all I do all day, every day, the number one reason why women divorce is usually because they're being cheated on. And it's not just that they're being cheated on, it's that they're being cheated on in a public manner. Someone else knows. It's been blasted, it's been put on social media. Something that is embarrassing and shocks the conscience usually is when I get that call from a woman that they're ready to file for divorce. Women usually stay in situations for other reasons. They can stay through poverty, they'll stay through not having a job, they'll stay when they don't get along, they'll stay for the sake of the children. But when you cheat on a woman, they're going to file for divorce. And that is the number one reason that I find that most women who come to my firm file for divorce.
Women don't leave unhappy marriages. They leave marriages that have left them exhausted, burnt out, overwhelmed, resentful, burdened. Like, they leave because they are done and they've been trying for years and years, sometimes decades, to make it work. Women leave marriages because they are tired of being gaslit, stonewalled, given the silent treatment, blamed for everything, told that they're the problem. Women leave marriages because they have been going to therapy or working on themselves for years and their partner refuses. Women leave marriages because they are tired of being the parent to their spouse. They are tired of carrying the mental load, the emotional load, the physical load, and serving a spouse who does not reciprocate. They leave because they've given a million chances and they don't have any more to give. They leave when they finally realize that they deserve better. They leave when they feel unsupported, undervalued, unimportant. These are just a few reasons why women leave, and they are all valid reasons.
5 reasons people get divorced that have nothing to do with cheating or just giving up too soon. 1. One person in the relationship imposes their will onto the other, sometimes physically, but more often this is through emotional abuse, and it's done in a way that erodes the other person's independence and emotional health. 2. The feeling of being constantly overburdened, having to do the majority of the work in both the relationship and within maintaining the household for years. 3. A lack of commitment. Nobody's actually stepping out and having an affair, but one person is clearly and consistently not showing up in their emotional commitment to their partner. Number 4 is addiction. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, or even video games, one person is addicted and they refuse to get help. And 5, they can't communicate or relate to one another. But it's not because of their communication skills, which is what we usually think. It's because they don't actually share similar core values, which prevents them from seeing eye to eye. Now, from our clinical experience, sometimes it's just one of these things, but more often than not, it's usually far more. For better relationships.
Get my divorce finalized? It sure is. Just a quick questionnaire from the judge and we'll get you out of here. Wife's middle name. Jennifer. Jennifer. And her birthday. Birthday? I know this. Let's just go ahead and move on to anniversary. Yeah. I'm just not good with dates, Okay. Doesn't know. Okay, let me give you an easy one. How does she feel loved? What? Well, what specifically made her feel valued and prioritized most? Oh, I don't know. Okay, perfectly normal for the most important relationship in your life. Let me ask you, true or false? The relationship would have been fine if she would have just stopped complaining so much. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, and what was her major complaint? I don't know. Something about me not listening. Right, can't imagine why she would complain about that. Moving on, who would you say intentionally practiced vulnerability, empathy, or validation more in their relationship? Are those real words? I don't speak. No habla español. Okay, name one thing you were intentionally doing to prioritize friendship, intimacy, and trust in your marriage. Oh, there were so many. I went to work, I put a roof over her head, I fixed anything that broke, changed the oil, shoveled the snow. Okay, so you were doing those things as a sacrifice and a show of love for your partner, right? Right. And you're still doing all those things at your new house even though you're single, right? I'm sorry, what? All right. And lastly, if you're honest, how much accountability do you actually take for your relationship ending? I mean, things would have been fine if she would just stop making a big deal about nothing. Okay, so none. That is good. I think we covered everything. So what's up with these questions? Does the judge make you ask these? No, they're actually completely unnecessary. But see, what I do is I put your name in a database so women all over the world will know not to date.
This person's still in my life and we're cool. But I used to get asked all the time, why are you getting a divorce? You guys you still get along and he's just so nice and so great. I don't understand. And I feel like a lot of people probably go through this, and I'm going to give you prime example that happened today of why people end up getting divorced that get along. Okay. We had a marital home together. We recently sold that home and he had been living there. And so he is now moving out. So I was like, okay, you need to cancel the internet and turn the boxes in. You need to contact the new owners about taking over the power and the water and everything else. Okay. I after walking through step by step of those things, I got an email today, or no, I didn't just get an email. I got an email, I got a phone call, I got text messages, I got it all, okay? A damn pigeon almost showed up with a letter strapped to its leg to tell me that our water bill was late. So I texted him and I'm like, why am I getting blown up by the water company? And didn't get a response, but then I get an email that says your water bill has been paid. So then I get a text that says, oh, I forgot, like I paid it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, did you ever talk to the new owners about like transferring over the water? He's like, what do you mean? And I said, did you talk to the new owners about taking over the water account? And he's like, I didn't know I was supposed to. Okay. I said, well, I did tell you to make sure that got done. Then I get the response of, what am I supposed to say? There was like a moment in time where I flashed forward and I was like, I can't do this for the next 40, 50 years. There's no way. I don't personally want to spend my life leading the horse to water. So just so you're aware, the little things will lead to a divorce. 100% will lead to a divorce. There were a lot of bigger issues too, but like that's just a little example. I don't always want to be, you know what? It's not worth it. Just be an equal.
So in my marriage, I did a lot of covering up. I did a lot of covering up what my husband was doing because I was ashamed. I was guilty. There was something in me that made me believe that because he wasn't doing the things that he had vowed to do, that I was somehow at fault, and that in a good marriage, you cover those things up. You cover for your husband. You have your husband's back. You don't air your dirty laundry out there. You fight for your marriage. You stay in your marriage. And this is what I was raised in. This is the culture. This is the mindset. This is sometimes being a believer in a church. That's what's heard, is that you stay in a marriage. And so you hear about, granddaddy and grandpa and the deacon in the church got a whole nother family. And you hear about all these things, and you believe that as a Black woman that you have to suffer first before you get to love. You hear the whole mindset of, granddaddy did grandma, he cheated, but then he settled down and now grandma don't want for nothing. That's because granddaddy old and crusty and don't nobody want him no more, right? So, but translated into my marriage, I thought that I had to cover up the things that were going on because in my head, I had what's called cognitive dissonance, which means that basically what I'm doing and what I believe are not the same. So either I need to change what I'm doing or change what I believe. And so because I had such a mindset that as a believer, you do not get divorced, I had to change the mindset to say, well, maybe it's something that I'm doing. Maybe I can, if I just, endure it, then he'll change and he'll become the guy that he was for the first 6 months of our marriage. And we're 3 years in and I haven't seen that guy again. And so when I filed for a divorce and when I finally decided that this was enough, I had so many people coming to me and asking me, hey, why are you letting such a good guy go? Hey, what's going on? I thought he was perfect and he was great. And I had to realize that not only was I divorcing the guy that was not good to me, I was divorcing the image that I had portrayed to everyone else. So now not only was I having to go back and tell the truth of what happened in my marriage and why it was going to divorce, I had to realize within myself that I was part of the reason why people couldn't understand why I was leaving such a good guy, because I had covered for him for so long. So if you're in that position and you felt that way before, then that's something that you have to own first and foremost, but not carry around, right? You were doing what you thought was best. You were doing what you thought you were supposed to do. And I get that and I understand that, right? And we move on, we grow, and we learn. Love you.
Since so many men are questioning and want to know why are so many women filing for divorce, I have this little post which I'm going to make sure that I link because it's a lot for me to read. But basically the first thing it says is women are more likely to take action if something is wrong. This is very true. It's very rare you're going to find a man say, it's not working out we didn't do too well with counseling, so let's end it. My husband, if it were up to him, he would never leave. He would stay forever. He would still be living in my house. I had to literally kick his ass out. I was about to call his side chick to come get him, his fucking shit, and get the hell out of my house. Because that's how much a man is really willing to stay with a woman while still doing him. Women don't rely as much on their husbands. Back in the day, women were forced to rely on their husbands financially. They were forced to rely on their husbands for just pretty much financial stuff. Everything else a woman could do on her own. Now it's about to be 2023. I don't know if y'all noticed, but this is a whole new type of decade. It's a whole new century. We're not sitting around at home waiting for a man to take care of us. Not every woman is looking for a man to take care of her financially. I am one of those independent type of females. I'm proud of it. To me, yes, it's a flex. Why? Because if I wasn't so independent, I would still be with my husband, getting cheated on and getting emotionally abused. No, thank you, sir. I'll pass. Women bear more emotional burdens. If you're a woman and you have children and you were married to someone who basically just went to work, came home, and did nothing else, you understand what I'm talking about. As women in society, we're taught that we're supposed to just be a maid, be a cook, be the one who takes care of the kids. And then the husband goes to work and comes home and he chills out. And us now, we're going to work and we're doing everything at the same time. So literally, we don't really get any days off. And it becomes so much. And after a while, when you're in a very unhappy marriage, and you realize, wait a minute, I could take care of my kids by myself. I can earn my money on my own. I can live on my own. I can handle my own shit. I can take care of myself. Why do I need you? You're not doing anything for me. You're having an affair. You're abusive, whatever it is. Not that all men are abusive, but this was my personal situation. Either way, women are realizing that we can really take care of ourselves. And if we don't need you, we simply don't need you. But it goes the same way. If you don't need a woman, you simply don't need her. That's not anything bad. It's just fact. If you don't need someone because they're just adding stress to your life rather than making it a little easier, why stay in a relationship that's not working out, especially if a man doesn't want to go to counseling? I think another big reason, because this is what my husband told me why he wouldn't file for divorce, is because a lot of men are afraid that if they file for divorce, then the woman's going to walk away with everything and he's going to have nothing. In my case, I don't give a shit about anything. I don't want any of his stuff. Literally, I am good with just me and my kids. And still, he wanted to stay because why? He wanted his cake.
13, I filed for divorce. If you would have asked my husband at the time why I filed for divorce, he would say, I have no clue. Our lives haven't changed. Everything's the same. I was content. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's happening right now. If you asked me in 2013 why we were getting divorced, you would have gotten a list of about 1,300 things, literally pages. We went to the marriage counselor. That's how it went. He had nothing on his paper, and I had a whole notebook. Unfortunately, this is not uncommon, and there is a reason for it. It all comes down to, again, a lack of communication and a lack of education on our part. We do not know how to communicate. Men and women do not know how to effectively talk to each other because we're never taught that. We're not taught in high school. We're not taught in college. We're not taught in most relationships. We often don't even see it at home with our own parents because adult conversation is usually held in the bedroom or behind closed doors or privately away from children. So it's not even like you see that growing up. So what happens? We get in similar situations like me and my ex did. I went through life growing resentment for him, for all the little things that he did that he didn't notice. He didn't notice that I wasn't getting attention. He didn't notice that I was frustrated with him all the time. He didn't notice that I was angry, that I was asking him to do stuff and he wasn't listening. He heard nagging all the time because I wasn't communicating with him effectively. I wasn't sitting down with him and saying, listen, I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I need help. I can't do all of this all of the time. Because if I do it all by myself, raise these kids by myself, like I continue to do, what's going to happen is I'm going to physically and emotionally check out of this relationship. That is what I should have said. Instead, what he heard was, seriously, get your shit together and help me do shit. Complaining, whining, nagging, bitching. because I didn't know how to communicate. And he got used to that. He got used to me nagging and bitching all the time and just learned to ignore it. Meanwhile, I was just growing more and more resentful and angry and frustrated to the point where basically it was an episode of Snapped where I just walked out the door and didn't come back. Scooped up the kids and said, I'm done. And this is so common. Us women, we have to learn how to effectively try to communicate. We can't just bitch and nag. We have to sit down and be real with our spouse and say, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. I am hurting and I need help before we check out. We have to give it a real chance. And men, you need to be open to that line of communication. When your woman sits down and says, I feel overwhelmed, I feel like you're not giving me help around the house, you can't just say, well, that's not true. I help. Nope. You have to validate her feelings here, because everybody's feelings are true. You can never tell somebody their feelings are false or wrong or misguided, because your feelings are your feelings. You have to validate those feelings. You have to look at it from that other person's perspective and say, okay, I understand why you feel that way. How can we fix it?
All right, ladies. That was the last one.
I know that was a lot, y'all.
Yeah, that was a lot. I have a lot to say. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go ahead and jump in?
Go ahead, because I got a lot to say too. Go ahead.
That last lady that she was excusing him. She was saying he didn't notice, and no, he did notice. He just didn't care.
He didn't care.
And she kept saying, well, women, you have to communicate. We just don't know how to communicate with me. No, women do know how to communicate. That's the issue. They don't know how to communicate. No matter if we cuss them out or if we're being passive aggressive, if we calm down and we talk like we got some sense and we tell them how we feel, it's always going to be the same with them. They don't care. Like, so the sooner women realize that, the better, I think, is because, like, protect your peace. Like, you can't keep talking over and over again to an adult like he's a child. That's where you get stressed out at. Like, just stop. You've been with this man for 15, 20 years. Protect your peace. Stop doing that. That's the first thing I wanted to say, but go ahead and say whatever you want to say, or I'll be just talking.
No, because I want to touch bases on hers too, because I was feeling that when she said, ladies, we have to learn how to effectively communicate. What have we been doing? What do most women do before they decide to take that leap and say, you know what, I can't take no more? She's already been
out.
Yes, and I'm gonna say that we probably are some of the strongest communicators. So effectively communicating, I want to say women probably are overly effective with their communicating. So, but no, what I feel like it's like, let me find what I can say, like some of these videos, let me find what I can say that can kind of like give, you know, like you said, validation to men, because we don't want to just put it all on men. No, if it needs to be put all on them, let them have that blame. Let them hold that torch. Yeah.
They notice. They just don't they don't want to listen to us. They know.
Exactly. So no, I don't feel like we should be trying to side. This is the actual divorce rates percentage of women leaving men. So I feel like there are a lot of women out here who are effectively communicating. So that's what I wanted to say on her. And then next I wanted to get on the black lady with the gold eyeglasses. You know which one I'm talking about? Where she was saying how granddaddy did all that stuff, had grandma emotionally spent, emotionally distressed. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he's old and crusty and now he's ready to settle down. Like, I don't know about you personally, but I have seen this within my family. Like, I feel like so many black women take on that role to where, like, if I just keep sticking in there and I just keep trying and keep going, he gonna come around. But what I heard recently, and I was like, okay, facts. I'm gonna have to share that on the podcast. I heard a woman say, she was a marriage counselor, and over the years she said most men get into marriages saying, you know, thinking, I don't want her to ever change. You know what I mean? I want that same wife, same energy, same,
because they never
emotions,
change.
Right.
Never
and
change.
Most wives get into marriages thinking, if I could just, give it time, I can change him. I can change his ways. I can work
Mm-hmm.
on him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we
And the
already,
women usually change. Women change
right. That's
all the
what I'm
time,
saying.
and
We
they stay
we
the same,
change.
and it hurts.
No. Now we might change multiple times throughout that lifetime.
Yeah,
Depending on
I
how long
have.
you've been in your marriage, you might change 2 or 3 different times throughout that marriage. If these are long marriages, me and Nava have been married for a really long time, so
And
I
we
can
see
say
it as we're
me,
changing for the
Zara,
better,
I've
but our
changed
husbands see it for the
several times,
worse.
right? We've
They
tightened
think it's
up
bad.
and things that right, and we've gotten that. Okay, I'm taking this back for myself. Like I said, ladies, get selfish in 2024. I'm taking this back for myself, and it's gonna be about me. And yes, it may seem wrong, and you might not understand it because I haven't been this way, for a while, or I haven't been this way ever, maybe in the marriage. But no, get selfish and
We were
get that take back,
16.
ladies.
We were 16 years old
We
when
were
we
very
got with
young, so
them.
of course you should
So of course
change.
we're going to
You should change
from.
it on a multitude of levels. Like
We're 40
really,
now. We shouldn't
I
be the
hope.
same as when we were
I
teenagers.
would
They
hope,
don't
right?
though, but they don't, and that's the problem.
Yes.
That's why there's this divide going on, because women are wanting, like you said, we're wanting them to, and they want us to stay the same like we were 16-year-old girls, and like we're not. We're
Yes.
smart now. Like so
Right.
that's a
why I was
big
like, oh
issue.
my gosh, that hit home when I heard her say that. Like, yes, that is so true. They're like, okay, I don't want her to change. And we're like, okay, I can work with this, and stop working with it, ladies. As much as I'm telling y'all tonight to get selfish, get picky. Get
Yeah,
picky as
and
well.
if you have any friends or family that are covering for their men, and their men are trash, that are abusing them, that are beating them, and they're covering and they're hiding it, and they're like online taking happy pictures and just always putting on the front for that man, I can't be friends with women like that. I have
can't.
to cut those women off, because I have to protect my peace. Because if I love that woman, that's not my peace is not going to be protected, because I'm gonna always be worried about her.
Because I'm gonna be
and
going to
she's
bat
not-
for her like it's my relationship.
Yeah, and she's not wanting to do better, and you're going to be trying to fight harder for her than she's trying to fight for herself. Cut her off. I don't care how close you are. Cut her off. I had to do that before.
Yeah, I've had to
it hurts.
I've had to let. Yes, I had to let like friendship go. We were teenagers when we became friends, and the bond just immediate. Like if you meet somebody and y'all just immediately on and connect. And unfortunately, that friendship is no longer, because while the first marriage that she went through, while I supported her and wanted to be there for her, loved this girl like a sister, like she became family. She would come to my family functions and I would go to hers or whatever and whatnot. But I had to let that friendship go after her second marriage, because when I tell you, baby, like it was emotionally taxing for me, and I wasn't even in the marriage, because I loved her enough to be there for her through that first divorce. Anytime she called, I made sure I was right there now, but to pick up that phone. And she called me multiple times a day. But I knew she just needed to be
her
heard.
Trash on you.
Yeah, I knew she needed to be heard and get that out. But I'm huge with the energy transference. It's real, y'all. It's real. So even if I'm in a good space, a good headspace, after someone, transfers that type of energy and emotion onto you, I don't care who you are, you're going to feel some type of way. Have you ever been around a person and you've been in a cool mood, but then they come around and they miserable and they just and this and that and hate everything, and you kind of feel like, why do I feel down all of a sudden? Like, it's real. Like, some people don't mess with that type of things, but you coming over here, you're going to hear a little bit from Zara, so just take that. But no, I had to let that friendship go, and it's so sad because all that time spent, together, building a connection, building a bond, and then it's just over like that. Over male.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's always
really
over
disgusting.
them.
Yes,
Always.
it's really disgusting. But yeah.
So.
Don't be that woman, and let those type of relationships and that energy go, ladies. It's 2024.
Yeah.
Work on yourself, mentally, emotional. Put that first. Mental and emotional health first. Okay, you want to go ahead and get into whatever else you was gonna say? I know I was ranting.
Yeah. No, you're fine. But I noticed that black divorce attorney lady, she said that the number one reason that women are coming into her office is because their husbands cheated. I'm like, if that's true, the tides are changing, because a lot of women used to didn't divorce their men or husbands for cheating. A lot of women would stay through the cheating. I've
and
witnessed
pretend, like homegirl said, pretend like the marriage is good.
Well, no, even if everybody else knew he was cheating, she would still stay. And like she said, especially if the cheating was like public or embarrassing. But no, that's a change. That's a good change, because women are actually not taking it anymore. So that's a good thing. And then she said, and one of them said that women are divorcing because of all of the household duties are on them. That's a valid reason. All of the reasons that women are getting divorced for are valid. Like if you're a slave and you're tired and you just don't want to get old before your time, you're going to have to release some of that weight from you, and cleaning up and working an 8 to 10 hour job all the time. That's going to age you. Like it's going to, I know a lot of women that are like my age that look way older than me. And I'm just like, you can tell that they're doing all of this for their boyfriends, for their husbands, and it's aging them. So, and I refuse. I clean once a week now, y'all. Like I pick
Zara
one
ain't
day,
gonna do it, y'all.
which
I
is
ain't gonna do
Sunday.
it.
I clean up on Sunday, and I get my boys in there and I make them clean up their room, and then I have my mom come and clean once a week now too. I pay her to clean for me, and that's it. Like you got to do what you got to do to protect your peace. And that's one thing I'm doing.
Absolutely. Get selfish. But I want to jump back to the lady with the bun, like in the black top. I don't know if you remember her, who said that her husband probably never would have left had she not taken the initiative to get the divorce. When she said that she was taking on, like, she works and brings in an income. She was taking on motherhood responsibilities and handling the children and all that. And then dealing with him, and he was, I think she said he was abusive and neglectful. Yeah. And then disregarded her emotional state. I feel like most males have the tendency to, like, effortlessly disregard women's feelings and thoughts and opinions. Like, I don't know how many times I've actually sat with women and heard women say this. Like, I feel like my emotions or things that I feel or my opinions are constantly belittled or not even taken into consideration. Like, I feel like that's one of the main reasons, like, we probably are seeing women getting divorced, because they fed up of it. Like, your emotional health, ladies, is probably one of the most detrimental things to your brain. Like, that can deteriorate your mind quickly, rapidly.
And that's why women are never wanting to marry again. Most of them never do. They're drained. And the men are still looking for somebody else to suck dry. Like,
yes,
like
that's
who
what I'm
else
saying.
can
We
I
jump
suck
to the
dry
next one. He didn't took all the life out of you. But I feel like with that, I mean, in her case, from what she was saying, if she's working, she's doing that, whatever, and taking care of the kids, then reared the children, I would think, like, a lot of women are looking at it just like they cutting out the middleman. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, he's pretty much like the middleman. If I got to do all of this, bring something to the table, be the fucking table, and take care of the children, why don't I just cut out the middleman who's causing me stress, who's, mentally taxing to my health and well-being?
Years. Like, it takes women years to get there, though.
But I
and
feel
that's
like
even
now
stressing because all these years you're thinking about divorce.
You're seeing more women who are saying, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not. So
get somebody else to do
that. Yeah, exactly. Get somebody else. Get somebody else.
Yeah, and like, as we can see,
we are seeing a lot of women are saying, you know what, I'm gonna cut out the middleman and go ahead and handle this on my own with my children, or however.
And they can't multitask. That means they're not leaders. They can't multitask like us. That you're not. The women are the leaders, so lead yourself. Like, I'd say it's better to be alone. One of the ladies said it's better to be alone than in a lonely marriage or relationship, and that is so true. I see a lot of women complaining, and we can't communicate. We don't have the same values. We can't talk, and it is better to be alone. All of that stress will be gone if you were alone. Like some people just. Communication, I don't think has ever been there with men, and women are just realizing it's never going to be there. And I think a lot of women just stay because of financial reasons, because a lot of women are stay-at-home moms, are like not working good enough jobs where they can just up and go. So that's why it's taking them like all these years to leave, because they're like, okay, like if I do leave, they're trying to weigh out all their options, and it takes women years to do that. So, and to try to get their stuff together.
That too, but I also feel like women also, like the attorney said, women will stay through a lot. They will stay through finance issues. They'll stay through If you go through a low point in their life and things, just
Men
like they
too.
stay through a
Men too,
lot.
but for different reasons.
Well, they
Men and women
stand for
both
a
stay
whole
for
nother
a lot.
reason. They're
Yeah,
standing for a completely different reason.
but
You know,
they'll
like,
never leave though. Women are the ones that
no, she's
finally
still
have to
gonna
say,
have
"I'm
to.
leaving."
They'll stay like she is. Like women will stay through a lot. They'll stay like she is because they're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm waiting on her to make the move. You know what I mean? Like, so no, but women stay through so much, and especially like back in the day with our aunts and grandmas in their time, and you know, because obviously things were completely different then. But no, I'm starting to see why a lot of women are like, you know what, I'd rather start from scratch than to.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Did you have anything else you want to say?
I just wanted to point out how with, you know, all the videos that we looked at and all the stitches that we looked at, what I tend to notice in the comments a lot was males saying this is why men are opting to stay single, or this is why men are opting to not even get married at all. So I just wanted to pull up a few little fun facts I looked up.
They
Y'all
have
can
no
go.
choice. They're not
Y'all can
opting to
go.
stay single. Nobody wants them.
Right, that's
They're
what I'm saying. Like,
gaslighting.
I just want them to know, you know, like I found a few things, and I think you guys are wrong, because this study showed that 31.5% per 1,000 eligible men remarried, and the rate of women was significantly lower at 19.4 per 1,000 eligible women for remarriage. This data indicates men are consistently more likely to attempt a second marriage than women. So not only are y'all opting for marriage, y'all keep getting married. Like you are more likely to get remarried as versus a woman. So yeah, I just want to share that fun fact, and I got a little bit more. Even the men, so like men that might lose their wives. What is this one? No, this is men who tend to remarry. Okay, so this is just showing the years. 3 years after a divorce versus a woman who's more like 5 years. And many women do not remarry because they do not want to remarry. So traditionally, marriage was provided more benefits to men than women. And I can absolutely agree.
Way
We've already
more
discussed that on
benefits.
this show several times. But no, there was another one that showed, where was it? No, I don't think that one was it. Okay, no, this is it. Okay, so this is the one where even though men are still, you know, opting to get remarried for a second time because they're insane. I don't know who would want to do it that many times, but yeah, no judgment, y'all, no judgment. But I'm just saying, widowers are 8 times more likely to remarry over a lifetime versus widows. So even if the wife, let's say, you know, the first marriage doesn't work out, he remarries because they're more likely to get remarried. Even if the wife passes away, they're still more likely to get remarried. So either way you flop it, the woman leaves you and the marriage just ends and the relationship dissolves. Even if you lose a wife, Mels, y'all are still out here getting remarried 8 times more than a widower. So, I mean, y'all can look this up yourselves, research it however you want to toss it up. But I just wanted you all to know that all the men in the comments saying this is why we're staying single, this is why. No, you actually are getting married, and you're not leaving those marriages until your wife divorces you. And then if your wife passes away, you're more likely to get married than women.
That's because women have friends, family. Women have friends, family, and children after their husbands die. Most of the time, men don't even have that. Like, so the people that do come around, the people that do come around are coming around for the woman, not the man. So they just don't have better, like, you know, connections like we have. They don't have connections like we have.
No, they don't build the same type of bonds and relationships that women do, because we actually pour into friendships and, you know, other relationships
We're the
outside of the
community.
marriage. Yes, exactly.
Which is why we need to build actual communities.
You still will have your children coming back to visit you and check up on you, whereas the male will be in hospice care and nobody has come to visit him or come to check up on him.
Yeah, and people are saying that. Nursing homes are saying that. It's been reported.
They're saying that.
Nobody comes to see them.
These men are dying with CNAs. And no family.
Yeah, and still flirting with the CNAs.
And still, till the end. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. I did. Did I have? I did. Let me see. Oh, wait, let me go to this one. Oh yes. definitely had to hit this one. Men are more emotionally reliant on their partners, so they have a greater emotional need for a new partner. If that ain't speaking the truth, because how many men do you know that relationship hop or marriage hop? I'll wait.
Read the next sentence. Read the next
You
sentence.
know what I mean? Widows
Read the
feel
next
they
one.
will lose their freedom if they find another husband.
Women feel like
Widows
slaves when
with
they get married,
young
basically.
children feel as though finding a new partner is replacing their deceased partner. So we ain't doing it.
They don't
We are
want
not
to
trying to lose our
replace you,
freedom.
and
We're not trying to lose that newfound freedom and independence. So we're just like, you know what? We're gonna sit this one out. We're smarter naturally, so yeah.
Yeah.
But no, and then I think this one was just showing also to the men that are getting remarried after, you know, the first marriage didn't work out. Those marriages have are 60% more likely to end in divorce compared to the first marriage, which was 50%. So these are just little fun tidbits I want to put out there for the fellas that was in the comments of some of these videos saying this is why we ain't getting married, because y'all want to leave and take half, or y'all want to leave for your emotional happiness, or y'all want to leave for, you know, this and that. Well, yeah, you're leaving, but you're also going on to the next one, and that's not working out because those have a higher percentage or chance of divorce rate than the first marriage. So nice try, fellas, but pull it on somebody else. No, I had to put that out there because you know them comments I'll be like, oh no, not. I know he didn't.
Yeah,
Like,
I have nothing else to say on this topic. I'm
don't.
done. But we do have a bandit of the week, y'all. I don't know if y'all met Rodney yet, but Rodney is looking for one of y'all, and I hope he finds him a pick-me or a mammy ASAP. 2 of them.
Before we go into the pick-me, I just want to say thank you to one of our subscribers who sent us this video. I think her name was Chandis Huntley. I'm sorry
Chandis
if I
Huntley.
said your name. Yeah, wrong. But thank you, boo. Y'all keep sending us those pick-me's and bandits. But we're going to play this clip and y'all going to see Snake Mouth Rodney.
Single ladies, what up? Got a deal for y'all. His name is Rodney Dunn. He's 51, looking for a submissive woman who aims to please him and take care of all of his needs. Must be educated and thick. Because if you are just one or the other is not going to work, ladies. You got to be both. He looks like Ron Isley, Juvenile, and Steve Harvey had an orgy at Mr. Potato Head's house. Sorry, back to the list. Must know how to cook because you will be cooking for him 3 meals a day. No ugly duck women. The audacity of Ralph Tresvant to act like this after he left New Edition is crazy. No BBW women. Can't wear weave, lashes, or makeup. Here's the kicker. Weekly allowance of $100. Ladies, hey, now, you might want to step up. If you are a single if you are a single woman that is interested in this, you could be in luck. $100 a week allowance? What? And you get to cook for him 3 meals a day. Come on, you're not getting no deal like that in the streets. You got to be educated and thick. You got to be educated and thick. His teeth are messing up my pH balance, and I don't have any woman parts. That's how dusty this brother. Well, good luck to everybody if you are interested in Rodney Dunn.
It's a hard pass, Rodney. I don't think I know too many that should be looking your way, sir. And them cheap ass Shein sunglasses you got on, Rodney, it ain't doing it, bro. Go back in the house and stay there.
You don't think he gonna find nobody?
Girl, that's all I had to say. Just Looking at Rodney didn't make my stomach hurt, y'all.
Still hear me?
Oh, you did go out a little bit, but no, I was saying looking at Rodney just made my stomach hurt, y'all. But yeah, ladies, if y'all out there and you are desperate enough, all my pick-me-anas, and yeah, mammies, y'all go ahead, y'all eat that up with your $100 a week. Let me know how that goes.
All right, ladies.
But
y'all have a good night. We are going to get out of here. So we'll see y'all next Sunday.
Love and blessings.